Alright, so we're going to continue Unit 7 from yesterday on elapsed time, which is how much time has passed. Number 20 says, what operation lets you find the difference, this is your key word, between two times numerically? So what operation? Alright, and we call difference, we know, is to subtract. So that would be subtraction. So today we're going to work with subtraction to figure out elapsed time. How many minutes will pass between 8:15 a.m. and 8:47 a.m.? Since these are both a.m.s, we can subtract them, and we can take 8:47 and subtract 8:15. 7 minus 5 is 2, and 4 minus 1 is 3. 8 minus 8 is 0, so this would be 32 minutes. How many minutes will pass between 8:15 a.m. and 9:47 a.m.? So now we have 9:47 a.m. and 8:15 a.m. The earlier time will go on the bottom, so 7 minus 5 is still 2, 4 minus 1 is 3, colon, 9 minus 8 is 1. So this equals 1 hour and 32 minutes. So I will write 1 hour, 32 minutes. Number 23, if you started your homework at 4:15 p.m. and finished at 5:08 p.m., how much time did you spend on your homework? We briefly talked about a problem like this, so your later time is always going to go on top. So I'm going to erase this here. I have 5:08 is going to go on top, and I have 4:15 is going to go underneath. Now, when you look at this, you know that you cannot subtract 8 minus 15 because 8 is a smaller number, okay? So I'm looking at the whole thing. You can't just look at your one digit because 8 minus 5 does work. But we need to look at the whole thing. So 8 minutes and 15 minutes. 8 minutes is less than 15. So when you borrow for time, how much time is in 1 hour? How many minutes? That's 60 minutes. So when I borrow, this is going to become a 4 because I'm taking 1 hour away, but I'm adding 60 minutes to this 8. So that number is going to become 68 because I'm adding 60 plus 8. So now my new number would be 468 minus 415. Now, we know 468 is not a real time, but in order for us to subtract, that's how we can create it so that we can subtract. So 8 minus 5 is 3, 6 minus 1 is 5, 4 minus 4 is 0. So we have a total of 53 minutes were spent on homework. Number 24, if you start something at 11:15 a.m. and finish at 2:30 p.m., how can you find the elapsed time? So again, 2:30 goes on top, 11:15 goes on the bottom. Alright, so for this one, we have 30 minus 15, or 0 minus 5, we can't do that, so we borrow, this becomes a 2, that becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5, 2 minus 1 is 1. Now the tricky part becomes here where we have to figure out from 11 to 2 or 2 minus 11. So I know that 11:15 to 12:15, 1:15, 2:15, that would be 3 hours. So I know I have 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I get 3. So the other way to do this, because you can't do 2 minus 11, would be to add 12 hours, because that's how many hours are in a day, or in like half a day. So you'd have 12 plus 2, that would be 14, and 14 minus 11 is 3. So there's 12 hours in AM and there's 12 hours in PM, so that's why you would add 12. Alright, looking at number 25, you need to be at school at 8:30 and it takes you 45 minutes to get there. What time should you leave home to get there on time? So we are going backwards, so we're going from 8:30 to 45 minutes earlier. So if I had 8:30 and I wanted to subtract 45 minutes, I would get 7. Again, I'm borrowing 60 full minutes, so I'm adding 60. So this would become 90. 0 minus 5 is, oh, sorry, I have to borrow 8. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. 7 minus 0 is 7. So I would need to leave home at 7:45 a.m. Alright, looking at number 26. You practice your musical instrument for 35 minutes every day. If you start at 4:42 p.m., at what time will you finish? Why can the answer not be 477? What do you have to do to fix the answer? So if we look at this problem, again, I'm going to erase my work over here. Because we're adding time, so we start at this time and we're adding the 35 minutes. So I have 2 plus 5 is 7, and 4 plus 3 is 7, and 44. Now, the answer cannot be 477 because that's not a real time. So we have to take away 60 minutes and we have to add that to our hour. So our hour is now going to be 5, and then we subtract that 60. So 7 minus 0 is 7, 7 minus 6 is 1, so we know that the time that they would finish is at 5:17. Alright, so underneath here I'd write 5:17 and we were at PM. Alright, next thing you're going to do is turn to the back side. We're going to do some converting of time. So for this page you're going to convert time. So I know that in 1 day that equals 24 hours. I know 1 hour equals 60 minutes. And I know 1 minute equals 60 seconds. And that's going to help us figure out some of these problems. I also know that there are 7 days equals 1 week. So starting with number 1, 12 weeks equals how many days? So I know there's 7 days in 1 week. How many would there be in 12 weeks? So I know I'm going to take 12 and I'm going to multiply that times 7 because I have 12 weeks and there's 7 days in a week. 7 times 2 is 14. 4 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8, so that would be 84 days. Alright, go ahead and do these. I'm going to do number 7 or number 5 with you and number 8 with you. So number 5, 200 years equals how many centuries? 1 century equals 100 years. So 2 centuries, or 200 years, then would equal 2 centuries. And number 10, a decade is 10 years. So 1 decade equals 10 years. So if I have 50 years, I know that would be 5, because 50 divided by 10 would be 5 decades. All right, I want you to do 1 through 10. You can skip 11, 12, and 13. And then once you have 1 through 10 done, raise your hand to get a star. Then we're moving on to another page. All right, on this page, you're just going to write, oops, that's the wrong one. On this page, you're going to write on your scratch piece of paper 1 through 6. We're going to find the times for each of these. So in 4 hours, what time will it be? So if I have the time, I'm going to write the time first. So I look at my small hand, the short one. I see, okay, it's in between the 8 and the 9, so I know it's 8. And it's pointing to exactly the 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's 8:25 in 4 hours. So I'm adding 4 hours. What time will it be? That's 5, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it will be 12:25. On your scratch sheet of paper, I want you to write the answers for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then raise your hand to get a star. Your homework tonight will be this page. It says 13.2 at the top. It is finding elapsed time. These are analog clocks. These are digital clocks. They both work the same way. 7 through 12, they're giving you times that they want you to subtract from. And please do 13 and 14. They are word problems with time in them. All right, when you're finished, you're working on IXL. Your choices are W3, or 05 and 06 today.